When I was in high school, I went on a mission trip to Montrose, Colorado between my junior and senior year. And we had a really wonderful time on that trip. We worked on a Habitat for Humanity site, and the group dynamic overall was just really good. We had an excellent group. There was no drama, no issues. We had a wonderful, wonderful time. But I remember during that trip, and maybe even a little before that trip, feeling this sense of just a little bit of emptiness, just a little bit of loneness in my life where it just felt a little disconnected from God. I normally felt like I could kind of feel God's presence, but at that time, for whatever reason, I just didn't feel that. Well, as we got to the end of our trip, we took a day or two to go camping up in the mountains. And I remember one night we were sitting on a ridge by a campfire and we were doing devotions. And while we were doing devotions, we looked out over the campsite and towards the mountains. And setting behind the mountains was the sun. And this beautiful orange glow that just blanketed the top of the mountain, and the city that was below at the foot of the mountain, they started to turn their lights on, and these lights began to sparkle and light up the sort of the bottom half of the mountain. So you had this orange glow on top and sort of this kind of this city star-ish feel from the bottom. And we just sat and stared at it until the sun eventually went down, and all we could see was just this beautiful starry sky. No light pollution, just pure stars. And as we finished our time doing devotions, most of the people went back, but a few of us stayed behind just to look up at that starry sky. And I remember looking up at the sky, and I fixated on a star. I couldn't take my eyes off the star because it felt like this star was looking back at me. And as I was looking at it, a thought occurred to me. This is God's eye. God is looking at me through this star. And as I had this realization, I was filled with a sense of peace, of just fullness in my spirit that I felt like I had lost but had now regained. And I'll never forget that star, feeling like I was looking at God's eye because of just that powerful moment of how I felt just sitting below the starry sky looking up and experiencing God's goodness.